It is the year 60 AD. The Roman army, the most disciplined war machine the world had ever seen until that day, stands in the empire's northernmost province of Britain against a massive Briton force fighting for their freedom. Gaius Suetonius Paulinus had been forced to rapidly gather all available forces. Under his command were approximately 10,000 Roman soldiers, his own Legio 14th Gemina, detachments from the 20th Legion Valeria Victrix, along with auxiliary infantry and cavalry units he had been able to assemble. Knowing he was heavily outnumbered, Paulinus chose to position his army in a narrow defile. The terrain was surrounded by forests and dense vegetation, protecting the Romans from attacks on their flanks and rear. Opposing them was a vast army of native Briton tribes, led by the Iceni warrior Queen Boudica. Queen Boudica advanced at the front of her army upon her war chariot, fully confident in victory. Her forces outnumbered the Romans by at least 8 to 1. She had gathered approximately 80,000 warriors. Behind them, in supply wagons brought to witness their triumph, were the families of the warriors. However, despite their massive numbers, the Iceni and other tribes had been disarmed years earlier during the Roman occupation. As a result, they were equipped with inferior weapons and armor compared to their Roman enemies. Despite the numerical disadvantage of her enemy, Roman commander Paulinus was confident his soldiers could overcome the odds. His men were more experienced, better trained, and more disciplined. They were like the components of a war machine refined over centuries. The Britons, on the other hand, fought as tribal groups, more individually and less organized. Their equipment was neither standardized nor uniform compared to the Roman army. Although the exact location of the battle is uncertain, it is believed to have taken place near Watling Street, a Roman road in the Midlands of Britain. Despite the strategic advantage of the terrain, the odds facing the Romans were daunting. The historian Cassius Dio wrote that even if the Roman army had been drawn up in a single line, it would not have matched the length of Boudica's forces. Beyond the battlefield, the massive Briton army stretched as far as the eye could see. Before the battle, Boudica delivered a fiery speech to her warriors. The historian Tacitus recorded this battle about 50 years later and attributes the following speech to her.
I am here not as a noble queen, but as one of the people who has lost their freedom. I come to avenge my body that was whipped and the violation of my daughters. So far has Roman tyranny gone that not even our bodies, our age, or even our virgin daughters are spared from their corrupt hands. But heaven is on the side of righteous vengeance. One legion that dared to fight us has already been destroyed. The remaining Romans either hide in their camps in fear or consider fleeing. How can they withstand our attack when they cannot even endure the sound of so many people's battle cries? Look at the strength of your armies and the cause for which you fight. In this war, there is only one choice. We will either win or die as free people. This is the determination of a woman. Men, if they wish, may choose to live and become slaves.
Tacitus also records a speech delivered by Paulinus to his soldiers.
Ignore the noise made by these barbarians. There are more women than men among them. They are not soldiers and are not even properly equipped. We have defeated them before. They will break when they see our weapons and feel our spirit. Stand together. Throw your javelins, then advance. Bring them down with your shields and finish the job with your swords. Forget plunder. Win only. Everything will be yours today.
The battle began with the advance of Briton war chariots colliding with the Roman front lines. The sight of the war chariots was undoubtedly impressive. The skill and agility of the charioteers were extraordinary. And they were masters at hurling javelins from their moving chariots. The disciplined Roman soldiers managed to withstand these attacks thanks to their heavy shields and armor. When the chariots withdrew, Boudica ordered a full-scale assault from her entire army. As the Britons reached striking distance, the Romans unleashed their pila and javelins into the enemy ranks, inflicting heavy casualties on the advancing forces. At this point, instead of waiting for the enemy to crash into them, the Roman front lines formed into a wedge formation, a tactic designed specifically to counter large numbers of disorganized tribal warriors. This disciplined Roman formation surged forward, breaking into the enemy line like a saw-toothed blade tearing through flesh. Within minutes, thousands of warriors were either killed or grievously wounded. The Britons, swinging their long swords wildly, tried to resist the Roman line, but the Romans remained unshaken. Their advance was slow, but merciless and systematic. Every step taken by the legionaries pushed the Britons further back. Anyone who fell or stumbled was ruthlessly trampled underfoot. The battlefield was chaotic, war cries mixed with the screams of the wounded. There was no mercy, no escape. Soon, the Briton assault turned into a disorderly and panicked retreat. The front lines, crushed by the Roman advance, collapsed into the ranks behind them, increasing the chaos further. What had begun as a disciplined and determined force quickly turned into a disaster of panicked fugitives. The only route of escape was the way they had come. Tragically, that retreat path had been blocked by supply wagons placed there before the battle. These wagons were filled with women and children brought to witness the expected victory. But instead of glory, they became an impassable barrier. The fleeing warriors became trapped. The Roman infantry cut down everything in their path. Roman auxiliary cavalry also swept in from the flanks like wolves drawn to the scent of blood, increasing the brutality of the slaughter. As panic spread, the battlefield turned into a slaughterhouse. What had begun as a battle quickly became a one-sided massacre. This was a terrifying demonstration of the overwhelming superiority of Roman discipline and tactics. According to Tacitus, the Romans killed not only warriors, but also women, children, and even animals. No one escaped the massacre. Boudica, who had arrived on the battlefield seeking a glorious triumph, fled the field in her war chariot. By the end of the day, approximately 80,000 Britons lay dead on the battlefield. It became one of the deadliest single-day battles in history. Roman losses, in comparison, were negligible. Only about 400 dead and a similar number of wounded. Gaius Suetonius Paulinus, had won a decisive victory. After the battle, Boudica's fate remained uncertain. According to Tacitus, she took her own life by poison. Cassius Dio, however, writes that she died of natural causes. In any case, she would no longer trouble Rome, and her name would never again be mentioned in the historical stage after this battle. Her oath of vengeance died with her. Suetonius continued to govern Britain for a few more years before eventually being removed from office. The Battle of Watling Street became the turning point that solidified Roman control over Britain and tied the island's future to Roman order. Following this victory, Britain remained under Roman dominance for centuries, until the empire eventually abandoned the island to its own fate in the 5th century. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.